Hung's mother, the woman who once brought tragedy upon her own family, has returned. She used to lurk in the shadows, even hired people to harm Hoai Ca just because she couldn't accept that her son loved her. She drove Hoai Ca out of the house, nearly costing the poor woman her life and the child she carried. And now, after everything, the law has set her free. But is that justice? Can someone that heartless ever deserve forgiveness? Or is she still hiding another sinister plan behind that calm face? Guilt can be washed away with tears, but can the human heart ever truly forget the past? Hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell to see how Hung's mother faces the darkest chapter of her own past. That morning, the sky was covered with a thick blanket of gray clouds. As usual, Hoai Ca carried her basket to the market, buying some vegetables and fish for lunch. She had no idea that while she was lost in the crowd, an old woman with cold, piercing eyes was standing at her doorstep, Hung's mother. That woman had been following Hoai Ca for days. She knew her schedule, her habits, even the exact path she took each morning. Today, she decided to act. Her face was tight with hatred, her eyes filled with a sick jealousy, the twisted emotions of a mother who could not bear the thought of her son loving another woman more than her. When Hoai Ca returned, humming a lullaby under her breath, she froze as soon as she stepped through the gate. In front of the house stood a hunched figure draped in a black scarf that hid her head. A chill ran down Hoai Ca's spine. "Auntie, when did you get back?" she asked, her voice trembling. The woman said nothing. She stepped forward, her eyes sharp as blades. "Who do you think you are coming back to this house?" Her voice was hoarse, heavy with rage. "You're the reason my son changed, the reason he forgot the mother who raised him." Hoai Ca stepped back, trying to stay calm, even as her heart pounded. "I never wanted to change him. I only loved him sincerely." "Love!" The old woman laughed bitterly. "You call it love when it's stealing my son from me." Before Hoai Ca could react, the woman lunged forward. Her hands gripped Hoai Ca's shoulders, shoving her hard against the brick wall. The basket fell vegetables scattering across the yard. Hoai Ca struggled to free herself, but the woman's strength was terrifying. Her eyes burned with madness. Her breath came in quick bursts, and she kept muttering the same words. "You have to disappear. You can't give birth to that child." Terror surged through Hoai Ca's body. She screamed and fought back. In the chaos, she kicked over a chair, creating a narrow escape. She darted toward the door while the woman stumbled and fell behind her. The sound of the fall echoed through the yard, but Hoai Ca didn't dare look back. She ran through the narrow alley, gasping for breath, tears mixing with sweat. One thought filled her mind: run, protect the baby. Behind her, Hung's mother sat up slowly, eyes burning as she stared at the young woman's fading silhouette. Her breath was heavy, but the corner of her lips twisted into a half-crazed, half-hateful smile. "You may have escaped today, but I'll be back." Hoai Ca stopped at the corner of the street, clutching her belly, tears streaming down her face. She knew the shadows of the past weren't done with her, that the woman who gave birth to the man she loved would remain the nightmare she could never wake from. They say time can heal all wounds, but it can never erase the sins we've sown. And the story of Hung's mother stands as proof of that, a woman who once did the cruelest thing to her own family Now that she's free again, the whole village, those who once witnessed the tragedy, can't help but wonder. They say time can ease all wounds, but it can't erase the sins we've sown. And Hung's mother is living proof of that, a woman who once did the cruelest thing to her own family. Now that she's been set free, everyone in the village, everyone who once witnessed that tragedy, can't help but ask, has justice truly been served? I still remember the night everything fell apart. It was pouring rain. The sound of an ambulance siren echoed through the narrow alley. People saw Hoai Ca covered in blood being rushed away while the neighbors screamed in shock. Hung almost lost his mind. He ran to the hospital, hands shaking as he saw his wife lying unconscious. She survived, but the baby she was carrying, Tony, almost didn't. After days of investigation, the truth froze everyone in disbelief. The person behind it all was none other than Hung's own mother. No one could believe it. A frail, gray-haired woman who had worked her whole life to raise her son had actually hired people to hurt her pregnant daughter-in-law. Her motive sounded absurd, but it was terrifying jealousy and obsession. She simply couldn't accept that her son could love another woman more than he loved her. When questioned by investigators, she said coldly, "I just wanted her to stay away from my son. I never meant to kill anyone." But not meaning to kill doesn't make you innocent. One decision, one payment, one cruel plan, and she had nearly taken 2 lives. She was arrested. The sentence, 6 years in prison. The village buzzed with talk. Some felt pity. She's still his mother. Maybe she was just pushed too far. Others were furious, a mother. If Hoai Ca had died, who would have paid the price? From that day on, Hung cut all contact. No visits, no letters, no gifts. He never spoke of her again. To him, she was already dead, not because of prison, but because of the unforgivable things she had done. Hoai Ca lived, but the scar on her body and in her heart never healed. She chose silence. No anger, no blame. But every time she looked at her son, her eyes would blur with tears, because that child was both proof of someone else's sin and of her own survival. Time passed and people began to forget. Then 4 years later, news broke. Like lightning, she'd been released early. They said it was because she had cooperated fully, was elderly and ill, and showed signs of repentance. That word, repentance, made many people sick to their stomachs. Some local papers even wrote a misguided mother granted leniency by the law. Leniency, maybe the law forgives, but people don't. She came back to the village one sweltering afternoon. Her hair was snow white, her gait unsteady. People saw her walking through the market, head lowered, buying a few vegetables before turning down the old alley. The house that was once hers now belonged to someone else. She stood outside the gate for a long time, eyes wet hand, trembling as if wanting to touch the door she once opened every day. A neighbor approached quietly and asked, "You really came back? You still dare to?" She gave a sad smile and whispered, "I don't know if I dare, but I couldn't bear the thought of him." Him. Her son Hung. The boy who had once been her reason to live, and the man she had pushed the farthest away. Now she lives in a small rented room near the edge of the village, taking any odd job she can find. People see her and whisper, Some pity her enough to buy a few vegetables, a handful of sweet potatoes. Most just look away, disgusted. She should have died in prison. Why let her out? The law went too easy on her. And honestly, I understand the anger. Because when someone commits a crime against their own family, 6 years will never be enough. When Hoai Ca heard she'd been released, she sat by the window for a long time, hand resting gently on her belly, carrying her second child. She didn't say a word, just stared into the distance. When Hung came home, one look in her eyes told him everything. "I know," he said softly, "I won't let her near you again." But inside him, something broke. Because no matter how much he hated her, she was still his mother. The image of that old woman, sitting alone in the marketplace, haunted him. The law may have judged her, he said one night, voice cracking, but people's hearts haven't. Maybe. That's the real punishment. She had no son, no home, no dignity left. But still, is it truly fair that someone who almost killed her daughter-in-law and grandchild gets to walk free under the same sky as them? Maybe justice really is blind sometimes. I saw her one last time by the market. She sat alone, selling bundles of morning glory leaves, smiling faintly, eyes hollow. I asked her, "Do you regret it?" She was silent for a long moment, then said, "I regret plenty. But forgiveness, that's something I'll never have. I don't even dare to hope for it. I just want my son to be happy, that's all." I looked at her hands, thin, trembling hands that had once worked hard to raise a child and later had signed the paper hiring men to hurt her daughter-in-law. Now, they were weak and frail. But that frailty didn't make her any more sympathetic. It only made her guilt more visible. Some people, no matter how old or fragile they become, will carry their sentence for life not on paper, but in the eyes of everyone around them. She may have been released, but she'll never be free. She may live among people, but every door remains shut. No one invites her in. No one says her name. Even children, when they see her pass, tug on their mother's sleeve and whisper, "Mom, is that the lady who hurt Auntie Hoai Ca?" And the mother just nods, leading the child away. That's how the name Hung's mother became a symbol of guilt, injustice, and of how dangerous love can be when it turns blind. I don't know how much longer she'll live, but I do know this: every night when she closes her eyes, the past must come rushing back. Hoai Ca's screams, Hung's cries, the sirens, the hospital's white lights. The law may have closed the case, but the verdict in people's hearts will never expire. And maybe the harshest punishment isn't prison, it's living. Living in silence, in isolation, and in the unbearable weight of your own remorse. So, is it unfair that she was set free? For people like Hoai Ca, for the child who almost died for Hung, who lost his mother but still bears her name, the answer is only one word: yes. Because justice may be written in logic, but pain is written in blood. And some wounds, no matter how kind time tries to be, can never be called forgiveness. Since the day Hung's mother was released, the small riverside village, once peaceful, has felt heavier than ever. No one wants to say her name yet. It slips into every conversation, every glance. At the tea stand by the alley, people whisper their voices, a mix of curiosity and anger. Did she really come back? the law went too easy. If someone like her walks free, who can still trust justice, everyone has something to say. But they share the same thought: some mistakes can never be forgiven. Meanwhile, Hoai Ca and Hung try to live a normal life. They've moved to the outskirts, built a small house with a green garden. Tony the baby, who almost didn't make it, is now bright, quick, and full of life. He's their pride, a symbol of survival and resilience. But at night, when the insects hum outside the porch, Hoai Ca still startles awake sometimes. In her dreams, she sees that woman again. Cold face, bitter eyes, and a voice echoing, "You don't deserve my son." Some memories cling to you no matter how much you want to forget. Hoai Ca knows her pain isn't just from physical wounds, but from the betrayal of someone she once called mother. One afternoon, Hung gets word his mother was thrown out of her rental. She couldn't pay the rent. The landlord had no choice. He goes quiet. Years have passed without a single meeting. Inside him, there's a strange empty space, anger mixed with pity. But pity isn't forgiveness. That night, he sits in the yard, looking at the full moon above the betel nut tree. Hoai Ca brings water, sits beside him, says nothing. After a long silence, he sighs. "I know the law punished her, but in my heart, it still isn't enough. Maybe I still hate her." Hoai Ca stays quiet. She understands that she isn't the only victim, so is he. He's the son trapped between two shores, on one side his birth mother, on the other the wife who nearly died by that very hand. He's lost his faith and his peace. A few days later, someone from the village calls him hesitant. "Listen, your mother is sitting by the riverbank. She isn't saying anything, just staring at the water." He hangs up without a word, but he can't focus on anything the rest of the evening. Finally, when Hoai Ca has just put Tony to sleep, he grabs his jacket and says softly, "I'll be back." The riverbank is pitch dark. Streetlights shimmer across the water. She's sitting there, bent back, worn shirt-white hair blowing in the wind. She turns when she hears footsteps. Her eyes no longer fierce, just empty and tired. "Hung," she calls, voice shaking. "I don't dare ask for forgiveness. I just wanted to see you. One last time." He stands still, fists clenched. Memories flood in, from childhood trips to the market in his mother's arms to the day his wife was attacked. The images clash so hard it feels like his heart might split. "Why did you do it?" he finally asks, voice tight. She lowers her head. A tear falls to the ground. "I was afraid of losing you. Afraid you'd forget me. I was wrong, terribly wrong. I only want to die here now, so I don't burden anyone anymore." He says nothing. He looks at her for a long time, then turns and walks away. She calls after him, but he doesn't look back. That night back home, he tells Hoai Ca nothing. He just sits quietly by the door, eyes heavy. The next day, word spreads through the village. Hung's mother is gravely ill. No one knows what it is, only that she's exhausted, bedridden, in an empty shack by the river. Some advise, "Hung, she's still your mother. You should see her one last time." He's silent for a long while, then nods. When he steps inside, She's lying there, skin and bones breathing shallow. The air is thick with medicine and damp wind. She opens her eyes and gives a faint smile. You came. I thought I'd never see you again. He doesn't answer. He pulls the thin blanket up around her. Are you doing well? Is Hoai, Sa, and Tony, are they okay? He nods. They're okay. Thank God they're okay. She nods, tears sliding down. Good. That's all I wanted. When he leaves, he feels hollow. Maybe when faced with the end of a life, hatred loses its meaning. But deep down, he still can't erase the image of Hoai Ca lying unconscious years ago. Forgiveness. 2 simple syllables that sit on the heart like a stone. 3 days later, she dies. Only a few elderly people attend the funeral. Hung stands at a distance, unable to step forward. Only when the coffin is about to be lowered does he approach and place a white flower on top. I can't forgive you, but I can't hate you forever either, he whispers. I hope you rest in peace. Not a single tear falls. Because some pain grows beyond tears, leaving only silence. When it's all over, Hung comes home and sees Hoai Ca and Tony laughing in the kitchen. The late sunlight warms their faces. He stands there for a long time, then says quietly, I just want our child to grow up without having to know the sins of the adults. Hoai Ca understands. She takes his hand and squeezes. We can't erase the past, but we can live well enough that it doesn't repeat. He nods, and after years of darkness, a bit of light returns to his eyes. Time passes. The village is peaceful again. The story of Hung's mother gets buried under the dust of memory. But for those who witnessed it, the scar remains. Some say she deserved to die. Others sigh. It was still a human life. Guilty, yes, but also pitiful. As for me, the one telling the story, I see one thing clearly. The justice of the law can end with a sentence, but the justice of people never ends. Hung's mother suffered the harshest punishment, not prison, but absolute loneliness. A life that ended in silence, no family, no one to say her name, only wind and grass covering the grave. And maybe that is the fairest sentence life could give her. For Hung, the day his mother died was the day he felt free. No more anger, no more blame. Only a deep sadness for a mother who loved the wrong way, and for a family broken by the selfishness of that love. For Hoai Ca, it was the day she truly let go. She stood by the window, looking out toward the old fields and the abandoned house, the place that had been her nightmare. She smiled not with pain, but like someone who had walked through hell and made it back. I forgive the past, not for her, but for myself, she said. I refuse to live trapped in hatred. Hung looked at her eyes warm. Thank you. If there's a next life, I only hope my mother learns to love the right way. And so the story closes not with a perfect happy ending, and not with a fresh tragedy. Just people with their mistakes, their punishments, and their hunger for peace. The law may be lenient, but life isn't. It took everything from her honor family, and in the end, her spirit. What remains is a warning. Sometimes, the scariest thing isn't the crime itself, it's love when it's twisted out of shape.